Hello, this is Dr. Flight, and this is a very short segment just to serve as an introduction to our course, which will be Marketing Research Methodologies and Analysis. So as we look at this course and we think about what we're going to do over the next several weeks, I want to first outline a couple objectives that we have for the overall course as a whole. One objective would be to be able to take data, analyze it using complex marketing data, marketing analysis, and apply that in such a way so that we can make managerial decisions with marketing data and also infer customer behavior from that analysis. We also want to be able to look at a variety of different multivariate techniques that specify certain marketing phenomenon. We want to be able to understand what the purpose of the techniques are, their benefits, their use, the assumptions of the techniques that we use, and again, how they fit into our analysis of data. We want to be able to determine and explain different issues that face data analysis moving forward. And then we also want to, I want you to be able to analyze data on your own using specifically the techniques that we talk about in class. So this class then will be heavily focused on learning new statistical techniques, being able to take data sets and be able to make some analysis on them and draw some conclusions. Okay, so that's kind of what we'll look at as far as that goes. The way the course is going to be set up is a blend of recorded video lectures and online and digital resources. So the way this will work is there'll actually be class lectures that are available in digital form. The text will be available in digital form to some extent, and it's heavily available online already. There'll also be data that will be available to you, which you'll be able to use, and then of course software that we'll use too. So we'll use professor videos and online materials. We'll have some in-class interactions. And to speak on this a little bit more, the way this term will work is that we will have our weekly face-to-face times that we'll meet. However, most of the work that you'll do will be outside of class, and the time that we spend face-to-face mostly will be to review and will be to discuss kind of the techniques that happen above and beyond what you're learning outside of the classroom. So the in-class face-to-face features will often be review. There'll be lab time to walk through material on SPSS and on the computers with me. There'll be examples and demonstrations of the techniques and such. But much of the learning that you'll do will be outside of the classroom face-to-face experience, most likely. So heavily involved will be what I call method assignments. So there will be 5 different assignments where you're performing methods analysis. You'll also have a few outside readings and discussions of those readings. There'll finally be a midpoint exam or a midterm exam, and then a final exam, which of course we'll talk about as we move through the course. So the things that you want to be aware of technology-wise, certainly you should have access to Excel and you should have a working knowledge of Excel. I'm not sure how much data we'll analyze in Excel. However, we may do some data preparation work in Excel. So just having that available to you will be helpful. SPSS is the data software package that we will use to analyze most of our data. So there are many, many different statistical software packages. However, this one is used primarily in a lot of different applications, and it's user-friendly and available in a lot of business environments. The textbook will be, and about SPSS, there is an option with our software to access it off campus or offline, if you will, or not offline, but away from the campus through VMware. There's a link here to be able to access it through, you can also search for it on the SIUE websites. We'll walk through that a little bit if needed. However, you should be able to access that, and technical support or the ITS folks at SIUE would probably need to help you if you have difficulty accessing SPSS off campus. So, and we can talk more about that in person as well. All the textbook will be the multivariate data analysis by Hare, Black, Babin, and Anderson. This book is actually out of print now, which should not pose a problem. It's available in used form, but it's also available in digital form. So we'll talk more about that as well. The other thing about this text is it's readily and easily available in lots of different formats online if you just search for it. So if you search for it and search by topic within or chapter within the text or whatnot, you're going to find a lot of material online on the textbook, and you'll probably find the textbook itself in some form of PDF that's, again, available just by searching. So I strongly encourage you to do some searches of the text and investigate that in terms of access. It hasn't been updated for a while, and again, the 7th edition is the last edition, and it's out of print now, but it's kind of the benchmark book for application with marketing in particular. The data sets that will be used will be composed of data sets that are provided by the textbook itself, and so we'll talk about those more as we get going. But also I will have data sets that you'll do the homework assignments on, and then the exams will be based on as well, which will be outside of the textbook data sets. But you'll have data that you'll be able to work these examples with, and again, primarily through SPSS with maybe a little bit of data set up in Excel. Other resources that are available to you, we'll post most everything on Blackboard. The only exception would be if I emailed you something directly, but most everything will be available to you on Blackboard as the semester progresses. It may not all be available to you at once, like right at the very beginning, but as we go through the course, the material will be available to you as well as the data sets and such. You'll have your syllabus, which will outline the context of the course. It'll also have the schedule on it, the tentative schedule, so be sure to refer to that. There's also a rubric for the discussion questions that is embedded or along with the syllabus. So be sure to read that thoroughly and make sure you're comfortable with everything. If you have any questions, just ask. You'll also have your classmates and then, of course, myself. I have a very open door policy, so I encourage you to email me frequently or come by my office. I will be in the office on class days, which are on Tuesdays this term. So touch base with me, and we'll find time to meet face-to-face, or we can coordinate our schedules via email. About myself, just a real brief sketch just to give you a little feedback in terms of what my experience might be. I am an active researcher in marketing. I focus on a lot of brand related issues. I'm working right now on cause related marketing, social marketing. I've done some compulsive buying work. I've also done a fairly good amount of coverage in innovation characteristics and product diffusion. So that's not listed here, but that's something that I would be involved in some. I do teach marketing strategy, product brand strategy, marketing research courses. I am active outside of the teaching and research realm and university realm. I do development workshops really throughout the world that deal with entrepreneurs who are launching or creating business for themselves in emerging markets. So I've done this type of work in South America and Chile, also in the Middle East, so in Iraq, in Azerbaijan, and also in Georgia. That's something that I'm fairly active with. Again, I've been at the university, teaching university students for over 15 years, published a number of times, traveled as a study abroad leader on a number of different occasions, and I've been fairly active in research, in service. So again, this is just a short, brief review of or introduction to what the course is. This is only a snapshot of course. We'll have a lot of time to talk throughout the term about the text and about the context of the course. What I want you to take away though from this is that this is a very hands-on course. So I am not a mathematician. I won't teach the course from the lens of a mathematician with a lot of math and numeric theory. That's just not what I do. So it wouldn't be in my wheelhouse to do that. However, I have been doing data analysis for well over 15 years, probably closer to 20 years now, where I take data sets, I analyze them, I try to understand the relationship that variables have with each other, I try to make predictive models out of the data sets that I use, and I'm doing this pretty frequently. So I will be teaching you from the lens of more of a active researcher. In terms of when I look at a data set, what I look at, what I look for, how I see data going together, the meaning behind data, and things like that. So there's a lot, obviously this is a lot of statistics, there's a lot of math that is performed, but it's not going to be what I would call a math theory course, because again, it's not my realm of expertise. And what I really want you to be able to do is take this information and be able to actually apply it, like with a data set, and be able to walk through the analysis and know what to look for and be able to make sense of what you have. Okay, so that is this brief introduction. I look forward very much so to this term and getting things started. Thanks.